The best unbeaten campaign of the season belonged to DeMatha, as the Stags won their fourth straight WCAC title in an unblemished campaign. And those accomplishments put DeMatha atop the final All-Met Sports Top 20 poll. Coach of the Stags, Elijah Brooks, joined me on the final drive, and I asked him if he had ever been part of a comeback like the one his team put together against St. John's in the championship game, rallying from 15 points down with just over 7 minutes to go.
No, we haven't. We've played in some close games. I think the one that comes closest to it was 2010 regular season versus Good Counsel. I think we were down 14, but we had a little bit more time to go. I think it was the beginning of fourth quarter, and Marcus Coker made it 3 long touchdown runs to seal the game, but nothing compared to this past Saturday.
And it's funny, Coach, obviously I know how good your team is and how used they are to winning. But anytime a team that hasn't lost the game, there's always kind of that doubt. If you can get them behind, they might panic a little bit. Did it help that your team had already faced a little bit of that obstacle this year, the game against Good Counsel, the game against St. John's in the regular season, that there was no panic to say, oh, we're down? It was just kind of, hey, let's go play football?
Without a doubt. I think that every moment in the season, good or bad, you have to use it as a teaching moment. And we actually relish in adversity and in adverse situations. So definitely falling behind early in the season and finding a way to win gave our guys confidence that, we would be able to pull it out. And, I told the guys then, I said, guys, we're going up against a great St. John's team. There's a good chance we could fall behind. Now, I didn't think that it would be a situation in which we would be down with, 5 minutes left to go in the game. But, at the end of the day, they were prepared for it.
Looking back to the game stories, a lot of your guys really gave a good bit of credit to your quarterback, Bo English, basically saying, hey, just showed his leadership today. And obviously it's one thing to say that about a coach, but a 17, 18-year-old kid to show that type of leadership had to be impressive. Talk about him that day and what he's done for you all season and his time at DeMatha.
Bo actually did a great job of keeping me composed. We a lot of times rely on, his temperature during the game, and at no time did he panic. Many times on the sideline I'm checking with him, and he just kept saying, Coach, we're good. Coach, we're good. And so that actually kept me calm. He just did a fantastic job, and we knew that he's been a great leader ever since he became the starting quarterback for us 3 years ago. But for him to finish it off that way just really just shows the type of player he is. He's a flat-out winner.
Coach, let's stay with the game. Anytime you get a comeback like you did, there's going to be some luck involved and maybe taking advantage of some luck. St. John's, they botch a pitch that gives you guys the ball back. Also, maybe the bigger one, the botched kickoff return that Nicholas Cross recovered. Can you talk about those two plays?
Oh, huge plays. We like to basically say that, we kind of create, our own luck. We want to be prepared for misfortunes just like that. And I don't know, what sparked, that play call for St. John's, but thankfully, they mishandled the pitch on the option, which gave us life. And we went ahead and scored after that fumble. We kicked the ball off, and we saw them in a onside kickoff setup, and we wanted to place the ball in the corner of the field. And it just so happened they didn't react the way they should have, and it was great. It was a phenomenal effort play by Nick Cross getting down there to recover the ball, and I really think that put us in good shape.
Put you guys in good shape. You come back, you get the go-ahead touchdown pass. Then your defense stepped up late. You get the interception by Miles Canton. Obviously, sometimes not as many, probably more points than you would have liked, but it seems like your defense this year, be it the 2-point conversion stop against St. John's earlier this season or on this play, talk about what they were able to do when you needed them late to come up with a big play.
Yeah, we definitely gave up, more points than we're accustomed to. But whenever we needed them to respond, they definitely did that. And, Miles Canton, maybe, he's not a headliner or a four-star prospect, but, that made him his 7th interception on the year. He has 6 forced fumbles and 4 extra point blocks. So it was just very fitting for him to make the play to seal the deal when he's been doing it all year for us.
Your fourth straight conference title, and it's funny, kind of looking back, DeMatha has done 5 in a row and 6 in a row, so I'm sure that's going to keep pushing the guys to keep it going. But this year, do you feel at all that there was some extra motivation for your guys, not only from the influx of talent at St. John's and all the press they got, but also the loss to Gonzaga last year that kept you from having an undefeated campaign last season?
Yes, each year presents, new challenges and new obstacles, and I would be lying if I said that we didn't hear it. We were the returning champions, but many people have written us off, and I think that our guys they weren't vocal about it, but it definitely got underneath their skin. So it made them work, extremely hard. And then, we felt like we had a phenomenal team last year, and we didn't, complete the season the way we know we should have. And our guys this year just didn't want to make the same mistakes that we made in previous years, in which, we had a game in which we lost focus or didn't prepare as well. And, so our guys really used that to build on this year.
Elijah, looking back at some of the stories when you were hired, folks were calling it a risky move. I mean, it's in the Washington Post. You can go look it up on the internet. There's actually the words risky move because of your young age, really. Does it feel good when you look back and kind of say you're able to vindicate the choice of what DeMatha did?
It's when I first got hired, I didn't even understand the magnitude of taking over a program, like this. And, so I definitely now at 32 can laugh and understand that people had a right to feel the way that they did. But it is a good feeling, more so for the DeMatha family who stepped out on a limb and hired me, for them to be able to say that, hey, we knew what we were getting when we hired, Elijah. So that is a good feeling. And, to this day, I'm extremely grateful for the DeMatha family for believing in me and all the people who supported us to this point. So it's a good feeling.
Coach, loyalty so big at DeMatha, but also when you mentioned your age, just 32 years old, you're coming off your 4th straight championship. There have been some coaches in this area at some colleges have targeted maybe to become part of their programs. Do you ever get feelers from some of these other schools, and is it something you'd ever consider?
It's you here at DeMatha, you have success, so you're often contacted, to gauge your level of interest. And things like that. But, I feel like I had one of the best, jobs, in America. And, I'm planning on getting ready for our 5th straight, So I'm very comfortable here at DeMatha and want to remain here as long as I can. But I understand that, people do get calls and, you have to, address them when they come.
Coach, I ask this sometimes of all the coaches that I talk to, because it always seems like we never figure out exactly who the champ is, quote unquote. There's that league up the road from me, the MIAA. They've got a champion up in Baltimore. You guys played McDonough earlier this year and beat them pretty soundly. Of course, the top team, St. Francis. Is there any interest on maybe your all's part or the WCAC's part to maybe ever get a little series going with them where both teams, both conferences champions kind of fight each other and see who's the best in Maryland or in that whole D.C.-Baltimore corridor?
Well, I definitely think it'll be great, for our state. I mean, the fact that, you end the season and you can talk about potential matchups with great programs like St. Francis or Wise or DeMatha or, just other programs in the area, I think is phenomenal. I think it's a little bit above my pay grade, as far as decision making is going. Would I like to see it? Absolutely. I think the area would like to see it. But again, I'm not in a position, to make those calls.
That was DeMatha head coach Elijah Brooks. Hear interviews like that one every week during the football season on my show, The Final Drive, which can be found right here on DMVSTREAM.COM.